Hey guys, it's Goosebumps Completionist, and today I'm bringing you an extra special Goosebumps talk type of video. And the topic I want to talk about is the top 20 most expensive Goosebumps books. Today I will be sharing 20 books that I have found throughout my collecting experience to be the most expensive. Now, some of these books I paid up expensive prices, some of these books I did not. But I'm going off personal experience by market watching, by being patient and observing the market for a little over a year. At the time of making this video, I've been collecting for a little over a year now in the Goosebumps hobby. And I have observed many books. I've observed many books come onto market at cheaper prices, then turn expensive, and then, vice versa. It comes in waves with some books, but these books consistently, I have seen steady high prices. And when I mean by steady high prices, I mean $15 for a particular book and over. Now, I am omitting a lot of books on this list. If I miss any books, or if you feel like books should have been on this list, feel free to add to this video in the comment section so we can keep the discussion going. Because I want to make this video for future collectors or current collectors to kind of get a gauge on what books, if they don't already know, are expensive, and kind of give you a rough estimate on rarity and all of that at the same time, and prices of what they're going for. At the time I'm making this video, it's currently late 2021. This list is subject to change for the foreseeable time to come. So at any point, some of these books can easily be taken off consideration for the list if there's a reprint or something that just detracts value, which isn't always the case, but yeah, that could happen. And also, I excluded a couple of books for consideration off this video. For starters, if a book already has a reprint or a couple of reprints, but the original editions still go for high money, I didn't really include those just because there's not really a shortage on the domestic front. And to be fair, all of these books, minus a handful, have international editions that you can easily obtain as well. I'm excluding that fact from this list, obviously, because what I mean by domestic, I mean by the US and Canada editions. So I wanted to keep the books that are kind of out of print to keep it less convoluted on the list. So I excluded the criteria of those who have reprints here in the US and Canada, but the originals still go for high money. I just didn't want to convolute the list. The second thing I excluded was collected editions, only because I wanted to make a specific collected edition guide at some point, which I'll also include prices there. So I know a handful of them do go for high prices, but for this video, I'm leaving them off. And the third thing I excluded was, it came from New Jersey, My Life as an Artist by Tim Jacobus. I know how unbelievably expensive that book is, but I don't consider it a Goosebumps book like, part of a series or anything. It's just a one-shot book that's associated with Goosebumps. But yeah, I just didn't include it because I didn't want to, create convolution in the list as well, even though I do acknowledge it is an expensive book. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into the top 20 most expensive Goosebumps books. Like I said, this is off my personal experience, and I'll share prices, rarity, and all that as well when I show each book. So at number 20, we have arguably the rarest, or I guess hardest to find, Series 2000 book. And this one's a sought after book because it features the mascot of Goosebumps, Slappy. And it's book number 23, Slappy's Nightmare. Throughout my time of collecting, this book has sat around $15 to $25, depending on grade, but even at the lowest end, I have never seen this book below $13. So I would say fair value for this would be around $15 to $25. Like I said, it's up to you. If you're willing to be patient and wait for like a lot with, a cheaper price per book, or maybe just be very patient on a deal on a website where you have it on your watch list or something, that's perfectly fine. And that goes for every other book on this video as well. So yeah, 15 to 25 is probably the average price for this book. These days, prices have ballooned in the asking price department. I've seen prices upwards of $40 to $60. I personally wouldn't pay that, but there might come a time where that actually might be the price for this book. The longer it goes unprinted, unreprinted, the likelihood it's going to continue to gain in value. And a lot of people seem to think that this is one of the Goosebumps books to be holding on to for long-term value, and I kind of agree there. So, yeah, number 20 goes to Slappy's Nightmare. The second book comes from Give Yourself Goosebumps. Personally, minus the copy I won in an auction, I have never seen this book for sale under $18, and there was a long period of time where this book was not for sale. Now there seems to be like a plethora of copies, and that's sometimes the case with Goosebumps books. You'll be getting to a book that, okay, I want to get this book on my list next, and you won't see a copy for like 2 or 3 months, and when it finally pops up, it's at unrealistic prices, and then you got to wait even longer. And then sometimes it feels like every time you finally get the book you've been waiting for, a bunch of copies just start appearing on the internet. But at my number 19, we have Give Yourself Goosebumps, book 37, Escape from Horror House. Like I said, I've never seen a copy personally under $18. I would say for fair market value, this book is sitting around $20 to $30. Anywhere on that, I would probably lean closer towards that $20 mark, depending on grade. Like I said, I've never seen a copy less than 18 except for the copy I won, and it's not in the best condition. It does have this little corner issue. I got it for like 11 or 12, but I paid for the condition I paid for it, right? Now, some of these have really no rhyme or reason why they're expensive. Asking prices on these usually aren't that egregious when you think about how long these books have been out of print, and considering the fact that majority of the quote-unquote bootleg copies of Goosebumps books on the market are Give Yourself Goosebumps black spines. People are paying up for the authentic ones, and this is one that people really want. I guess people associate the cover looking like Monster House. That was initially the case that attracted me to the cover, and I've actually become a super big fan of this cover. I like how the art, doesn't speak for itself. It lets the people's imagination observing it get to see the image of the house with the face. It's becoming one of my favorite covers, too. Maybe it's the cover that sells the book. Maybe it's the obscurity in how it's never been reprinted, and it's infamously in the time period where Goosebumps was just declining in print run, and the series was starting to die out. It has a lot of factors going for it, and plus the potential Monster House curiosity going on, maybe with the similarities there. So this book lands at number 19. Expect 20 to 30 on this one. Now this one, I can totally see why this one is consistently priced the way it is. This book is, I can speak on Testament. It comes in waves from time to time where copies will just flood and recede. But this book is, there's a lot of fakes on the internet for this book, and that is Give Yourself Goosebumps, book number 30, Your Plant Food. As a matter of fact, I got duped myself. I finally have a real copy, and if you haven't watched my Scholastic India reprint video, I showed my old copy I had. But yeah, this book, it depends on what time you're looking at. If there's bone dry copies, I have seen a copy sell for $50. Now, normally when there's a bunch of copies, this book is around 20 to 30. I would say 20 is where I would be comfortable paying. I actually paid up 20 for an authentic copy myself. But this one, it appears from other YouTubers' videos that this one has been one of the rarer or hard to find ones for a couple of years. And I can kind of see why. You see, the cover displays a plant human figure that kind of resembles a popular Goosebumps book called Stay Out of the Basement. When you had a plant hand coming out of the basement door, I think that curiosity could be there for this book, or maybe it's the book's merit itself. Maybe people really love the story. I don't know. But it's number 30, and if you don't know, Give Yourself Goosebumps ran 42 books and 8 special editions. So the numbering is kind of sporadic on which ones I've seen the most expensive, right? But for example, this book, the authentic ones, I have never seen cheaper than $20. So that's why it's on my list at number 18. It's a pretty pricey one. It might be sought after for the Stay Out of the Basement look-alike character on the art. I couldn't tell you why. It just is. So that's number 18. Now number 17, this one has gained value tremendously in the past couple of months to where it's officially on my list now. This one is a story that kind of features an unofficial cameo of a pop culture icon. If you've watched the Goosebumps show, I'll explain it in a minute. So at number 17, we have Give Yourself Goosebumps, number 31, The Werewolf of Twisted Tree Lodge. Now, when I first started collecting, this book was around $20 asking price. Currently now, even with a plethora of copies, prices have ballooned, and sale prices have even ballooned as well, to the point where I have to include it on this list. Asking prices have hit over $50. Now, asking prices are asking prices, right? And I think with, when you're dealing with, widespread knowledge about which books are harder to find and whatnot, oftentimes when a book gets notoriety or people understand that it has value, you'll see a lot more copies being sought after and found, and then a lot more copies turn up for sale, which drive down value. Now, sometimes it's just merely supply and demand. This, however, I don't really ever see a shortage of copies, but people are driving up price. Now, to bring back to the cameo from the Goosebumps show, in the intro of the show, there is a man in black. A man in black. He's wearing a black suit. He has a cape and a hat. He has a briefcase. The character is in this book. And it's also a widely revered story. I think a lot of reviewers have said that this is one of the best Give Yourself Goosebumps books, and it's easily in the top 3 best werewolf books. So the value here is just like many other Black Spine Give Yourself Goosebumps books. It's never been reprinted. People are paying up the money for the authentic books. It's a sought-after story with a cameo of a character that is kind of a pop culture icon in some ways. So yeah, when I first started collecting, prices were around 20. Sold prices recently, now this could change, but sold prices recently have been ballooning between 30 to 40. I would say comfortably, you'll probably be looking at $20 to $30 for a copy of this, but it could be subject to change at any time. But yeah, so we have The Werewolf of Twisted Tree Lodge at number 17. Now, number 16, the reason why I put this one so high is because I've literally never seen this book below $13, and I got my copy from a buy two get one free sale, and I had to pay up like $14 for mine. And yeah, this one is notoriously expensive. It's been expensive ever since I started collecting, and there's hardly ever any copies online for sale. And whenever there's a cheap copy, this one gets sucked up immediately. And that is Give Yourself Goosebumps number 27, Checkout Time at the Dead End Hotel. I don't know if it's the cover, I don't know if it's the story. I've heard this one is a really good one. It has a fan favorite location and some really good adventure to it, mind warping stuff. I just haven't read it personally, I don't think. But when I got into collecting, I would see this book between 30 to 40. And even today, on the lower end, you might see it for like 27. And on the higher end, if you have like a listing with like a actual photo image, I have seen copies of this sell for 35 in high grade, even pushing 40 at auction for a really, really nice one. So even in the lowest end of condition, like mine, like I said, you could if you're patient enough, you might be able to score one for like around 15. But this one is just a nightmare to track down cheap. I had to bite the bullet myself and pay up for it. It's a really cool cover. It's a fan beloved one, supposedly. I can't wait to read it at some point. But yeah, since I'm on number 16, we have this one. Now we're kind of rounding it off at number 15. Now this is the first of the original 62. It doesn't really matter if this one has the mask included or anything. You're going to be at least paying up 20. Now, there are some sellers that will just throw out a copy for like $8 here and there, and I've seen people get really good deals and get really lucky with the mask being included. But generally speaking, you're going to be spending at least 25 to 30 for this in, decent condition. If you don't care about condition, you might be able to get one for 18 to 20, maybe even 15. But we have the original Goosebumps series, number 60, Werewolf Skin. Yeah, this is purely expensive because it's never been reprinted. It wasn't reprinted in the 2003 reprints. There is an ebook version of it, but this one's sought after because it's in the final 5, original 62. And I've noticed this about the final 5 original 62, is that these are the most expensive ones in the series, especially for the original editions. And when you have a book like Werewolf Skin and the other 2 after it and the 2 before it, which, original collectors need to fill their collection, and then especially Werewolf Skin and the 2 after it having their only known collectible copies here domestically is in this series, the original series. You can't get a reprint of it or anything. Makes it that much more valuable. Like I said, I didn't want to include books like The Haunted School and Deep Trouble 2. The originals do go for pretty decent money, but there are reprints out there that you can get for a very reasonable price, so I really didn't want to convolute the list with that. But Werewolf Skin doesn't have that, and it's a fan-beloved book. It's my personal favorite book, and it comes at number 15 simply because I have seen from time to time people get really good deals on this. I've seen people score lots, but lots are really kind of its own entity, and when dealing with individual sales and whatnot. But generally speaking, I would say you would be in the $20 to $30 ballpark to purchase this book. And really, there's no real wiggle room unless you're at the right place at the right time at the right seller. So it could be up in the air, but yeah, this is generally one of the more expensive ones. At number 14, now I've seen this one balloon in price recently, and I can't tell you why. Maybe people are starting to catch on that these were only released for like a period of like 3 to 4 months. And that is Goosebumps Live on Stage, Screams in the Night, special limited edition. This book was only released at the Feld Entertainment Goosebumps Live on Stage play, and they're only available for like 3 to 4 months in late 1998. When I first started collecting, I immediately went after this because I saw a copy for like $9 or $10 on Thrift Books, and that's where I got my copy. It's actually in pretty nice shape. But asking prices recently on this book have gone AWOL. They have gone completely AWOL. You'll be lucky to get a copy of this for like, at their asking prices, the lowest like 40 to 50. However, there are other websites I have seen with people asking like 20, maybe like 15 here and there. The prices on this have just gone up to the point where this is going to become at some point a book you're just going to have to pay up for. And if you get really lucky out thrifting or looking online, I would say comfortably I would be willing to pay 10 to 20 for it because that's what I'm accustomed to paying for it. But given that the asking prices have jumped to 50 and recent sales have ballooned to like 35, I would say maybe $30 to $40 might be a comfortable range at any condition for this today. I mean, I would be patient and wait because sometimes it will pay off for especially this book. I've seen plenty of copies for reasonable prices like 10 to 15. But yeah, if you don't have this, this might be one to kind of try to track down sooner than later. All right, at number 13, now this one fluctuates too. From time to time, it depends on what time of year. This is one of the special edition Give Yourself Goosebumps books. Asking prices can be like $70 to $90. Then sometimes of the year, if you look on eBay or something, you'll see live listings for like 20 to 30 bucks. There is really no gauge on real value of this. I have seen sales at 60, I've seen sales at 75, I've seen sales at 85 for this book. And it doesn't really matter what condition. I think they were blind buys. And then I've seen sales as low as $18, like mine. But it is Give Yourself Goosebumps Special Edition number 8, Weekend at Poison Lake. This is the final of the Give Yourself Goosebumps Special Editions. It has a different setup than most Give Yourself Goosebumps books. There's like 4 different perspectives in it, and it's very experimental. I guess it's sought after because it's a Give Yourself Goosebumps Special Edition. It's in the final 3 books of the series. I think they did this one, Danger Time, and All Day Nightmare. Those are the final 3. And yeah, because of the experimental nature of the book itself, the color scheme looks really nice. This book has notoriously been expensive. The lowest I have ever seen this book, personally, even on thrift books, was $22. I got really lucky one day on Discover Books and found one for like 18 or 19 bucks, and that's the lowest I've ever seen it. Maybe one other time I saw somebody score a 2-book lot with this in it for like 15, but that's a different anomaly to talk about. But yeah, I would say, comfortably speaking, you're looking maybe 30 to 40 on average. You might get lucky at some points to get it for 20 to 30. I would say about 30 to 40 is the value on this. Pretty hard to find. It's out of print. It's very late in the game for the original Goosebumps run from 1992 to 2000. They didn't make much of these, so yeah, there's that. At number 12, now this book was the last Give Yourself Goosebumps book I needed. And boy, let me tell you, this book is a nightmare to find for sale, period. This is one of the handful of Give Yourself Goosebumps books. When it's up for sale, it disappears. It seems like everyone needs this book. Maybe it was underprinted. Maybe they didn't order enough of these back in the day. Maybe there's not a lot of them around. Maybe a lot of them were destroyed. I don't know. But this is Give Yourself Goosebumps, number 35, Hocus Pocus Horror. I'll tell you this, I paid up at least 30-ish plus for this copy. This is a book that is hardly ever for sale, and when it is, prices recently have ballooned to like 40 plus, okay? I would say for value off the bat, it's always kind of been this way since I've started collecting. It's always been like a $28, $35 book, but now I'm seeing 40 plus. I would say anywhere between 35 to 45 is what you're going to probably be expected to pay for something like this. All right. Yeah, it's just going to be one of the more expensive books, and you're going to have to pay up for it. It's hard to find. I don't know what else to say, unless if you're out hunting, if you see this for a reasonable price, I would buy it regardless of any condition. Some people have gotten lucky in lots. This is just one that haunted. This book literally haunted me personally, and I had it included on my list. Honestly, if we're talking in terms of rarity, I would definitely say it's in the top 10 rarest, but not the most expensive, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, at number, what were we at? 12 is Hocus Pocus Horror. At number 11, now this book is also another nightmare book to find. This book arguably is the 3rd or 4th hardest to find Goosebumps TV book from the Goosebumps Present TV book series. And this is book number 14, You Can't Scare Me. This book, people can ask upwards to $80 to $100 for this. I've seen sales on a nice copy for $70 once. These don't pop up for sale often. I've seen, the average price for this book hovers around $40, give or take. There are some handful of situations where I've seen less than $30 sales, like in the $25, $27 range. But that's neither here or there. I got really lucky with mine. I was on a Biblio flash sale one time, and the seller had slashed all the prices of their books. They had this sitting at $40 forever, and they slashed it down to like I don't know, 16, and I jumped on it, and it's beat up, but this is what you're gonna get. At least everything is intact. I would dare say this is one of the rarest Goosebumps books. Definitely in the top 10 with Hocus Pocus Horror. Yeah, but yeah, very rare. Expect to pay, I would say expect to pay at least 40 to 50 for something like this, regardless of the condition. Now we're, I think, in the top 10. All right, so this one is consistently expensive. This is another book. It depends on the time of year and how many copies are for sale online. Sometimes there'll be copies only listed for at the minimum of $100. If you're lucky, you'll get with the bookmark and the cards included. If you're unlucky, you'll get with nothing included. From time to time, I have seen deals on this book. I think I got my copy for like 13 or 14, and I was happy with that. I didn't care about the inserts. I just wanted a copy for my collection. And this is from the original Goosebumps series that just never has been reprinted. And that is book 62, the final book, Monster Blood 4. Now, I had a fluke with mine. Now, there are some times where you'll see copies for like 20, 25. That's like at the base minimum. But the average sale I see going for, surprisingly, is $40 to $50 for something like this. Consistently, $40 to $50. I would say expect to pay that. Maybe if you're lucky throughout a specific time of the year, you might be looking at 20 to 35 in that range. But this one's clearly a $40 to $50 book. Now it depends. If you want the inserts, you're gonna have to pay up a little, even more than that. If it doesn't have the inserts and you don't care about that, you'll get a better deal. Depends on how you look at it. You could try to blind buy from a website. This is another common one that gets mixed in with Scholastic India reprints. I know a lot of people who have an India reprint of this. They got duped online. Don't fall into that trap unless you don't care. But yeah, this one's 40 to 50. Now, at number 9, this one has become the most expensive original 62 book. And this one, I think, is kind of deserving. It has a cult following for the book. Stein has openly said he's forgotten the book, and it seems like Scholastic has as well. It's the third of the unreprinted ones at this point for the original series. And it's book 61, I Live in Your Basement. Now, this book, recent sales have ballooned like $50-ish, like 50, 55 range. Depends on the condition, of course. The lowest I have ever seen this book, the absolute lowest personally, was $14 or something like that. And I bought it a while back because I knew how desirable this book was. I have never seen it below 14. On the average, I would say you're going to normally be looking at 40 to 50, even despite the price increase. Maybe I would even go as far as say 50 to 60 because this book is just climbing in value. It's getting a lot more attention, a lot more notoriety. It's getting a cult fan base as more and more people acquire this book. Has a reputation behind it. I would definitely say it's kind of like a Slappy's Nightmare situation where I think people are trying to hoard this one because this is the one book I think has the least amount of chance out of the 3 that need to get reprinted of getting reprinted. I can see Werewolf Skin getting reprinted and like a werewolf collection or something. I can see Monster Blood 4 getting thrown into a Monster Blood 10. But this one, I would say, has the least likelihood out of any of the 3. Expect to pay up for this on average. Now you might get lucky, like I did, but you know this. Like I said earlier in the video, it's a patience game. Sometimes you might have to be a little patient. I was very patient myself, but yeah, you're gonna get used to seeing like $40 to $60-ish range for this. At number 8, we have one. Now this one, I don't know if it used to be rarer than it is today, but I never see a shortage of copies for sale. And this one seems to be a victim of people gaining the hype, getting on the hype train behind this book. it maybe used to be hard to find and listed at very high prices, but this is one of the books that people have gone out of their way to go track and hunt down in the wild. And when people do that and list copies on eBay or whatnot, it adds more copies for sale, which drives more of a competitive market, which means that asking prices start to drop. And I think this book isn't as rare as it once was. And that is Return to Terror Tower, which is Give Yourself Goosebumps, Special Edition number 2. This is a sought-after book because it's a sequel to a fan-favorite original 62 book, A Night in Terror Tower, arguably considered to be the best Give Yourself Goosebumps book by many fans. I've seen many people say that this is the best one. But asking prices these days have gotten pretty reasonable compared to other books on this list. People in previous videos used to say people would ask like 80 to 100, but these days I see copies listed for 30 to 40. All types of grade. You can get a high grade copy for like 40. But I have seen this book go through periods of times where it's listed for like 60, 70, 80. But majority of the sales I've seen, I've never seen an $80 sale for this. I've only ever seen maybe a $45 sale, personally. So I would say comfortably for value of this is a sought after one. Don't get it twisted. This is a harder to find one. It'd be very challenging to try to find this in the wild. If you do, you pretty much hit the lottery. I would say value is expected to maintain at $35 to $45. I would say comfortably that's the price you're going to see for this. Asking prices might balloon at some point. Maybe, just maybe, these might start drying up the more collectors start getting into collecting and buying them, and prices will balloon again. But as of now, it's pretty reasonable. But it is about a $35 to $45 book. The only reason why I put it above I Live in Your Basement and Monster Blood 4, which they sell for more than this, is that it's rarer. So yeah. At number 7, now this one fluctuates too. This one fluctuates a lot. But recently, it's just sitting at $60 asking prices. Sometimes there's $100 asking prices. But this one's unbelievably rare to find and find in good condition. This is the one book on this list that anytime I see one for sale, it's beat up. The first time I paid for a copy, I blind bought like a copy for $25, and writing all over the book, covers coming apart. And then I saw this library edition for like $20, and I went ahead and bought it just to have it. And that book is More and More and More Tales to Give You Goosebumps, aka Tales to Give You Goosebumps Special Edition number 6. This was the final book in the Tales to Give You Goosebumps series. It was the very last book they made in the classical era of Goosebumps as well, kind of in a co-spot with Return to the Carnival of Horrors. And this book is pretty rare because it was in a Christmas special edition pack set where you had to, the only way to get this book was if you purchased it with this stocking, and you had to buy the box to get it. And I don't think every single kid collecting Goosebumps back then bought the box. I know a box set sealed with the book inside can go for astronomical. I've seen a sale of that for like $180, $200. And the highest I've seen a book sale of this book personally was an $85 sale, but it was a really, really nice copy. I bought 2 copies now for $20. This one's actually in pretty decent shape compared to my old one. But average prices I have seen consistently $45 to $55 for this, and it's unbelievably rare. I think it's even rarer than Return to Terror Tower, so that's why I have it at number 7. Pretty rare book. Okay. At number 6, now this one, I don't know if it was cheaper back then, but today, asking prices at the bare minimum is $50 for this. This is the only, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the only Series 2000 book to ever get a sequel, minus Creature Teacher. And that is the Invasion of the Body Squeezers series, and this one is the 3rd book, Revenge of the Body Squeezers. This is Give Yourself Goosebumps Special Edition number 6. I paid up for a copy for about $24 back in the day, I think, something like that. And I thought I was getting a good deal. Now, over time, I kind of got bummed because I saw copies pop up for like 13, 14 that other people were finding, and I thought that was a good deal. I think one time I saw somebody get a flash sale deal for like $8 on thrift books, which good for them. Um, and that goes the same thing with some other special edition books. I've heard people getting books for like $3, $4. But yeah, this book in today's market, I see less copies for sale than Return to Terror Tower, and it's pretty consistent pricing for purchased copies. People are actually paying that $50 price. Now it fluctuates, but it's generally around that point throughout the entire year. Sometimes it can be between 35 to 50. Sometimes it could be between 50 to 75. It just depends. I would say comfortably around $45 to $55 is what you're going to be paying for this. It's crazy rare. It's from this later point in the series. I guess it's a sought after one because it's a Series 2000 sequel. Just expect to pay up a little bit for this. At number 5, we have a TV book. Now, this one was the final book I needed to complete my TV book collection. And we have a book that I thought was going to be near impossible to purchase for less than $100. I had to end up selling a few things to be able to afford this, and I paid up personally. The cheapest I've seen this book sell for in recent years was $20, but it was on an obscure website, and it went immediately. This is one of those Goosebumps books that just sell immediately when it's up for sale at a reasonable price. And that is TV book number 17, Calling All Creeps. I'm going to just be upfront. Expect to pay at least the bare minimum $60. There's asking prices upwards of $140 online. I would never pay that. I'm just saying, I'm also admitting I didn't get the best deal, I would say. Considering that I've gotten really good deals on some other things, I kind of factored that into my purchase of this. But I will say, if you're patient enough, I've seen people score this book for 68 at auction, around there. You might find an auction where you can kind of wait it out and try to get a good deal on it. But that's basically it. This book is unbelievably rare. There was a period of time when I finally got to this book, it was the last one I needed. I waited about 3 to 4 months for a copy to pop up for sale that wasn't listed for $140. So, yeah, this definitely is earned in the top 5 most expensive. You're pretty much guaranteed to pay up for this. Minimum of 60. It can honestly range. This one has a lot of range for it. I would say anywhere between 60 to 80 on this. Be expected to pay. At number 4, we have another TV book. Now this one is really hard to find for sale, let alone at a decent price. The lowest I've seen this book for sale in recent memory was like $90. And I got super lucky one day. I found this obscure website selling a copy for $20 plus shipping. It has a chunk missing out of the back cover, but it doesn't really take away from the look and presentation of the book, so I'm fine with it. But this book is unbelievably expensive and rare, and that is TV book number 18, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes, the TV book. Yeah, it's number 4 for a reason. It's just insanely expensive. I've seen sales actually sell for $120. Like I said, I paid $20 for mine, but that's the cheapest I've ever personally seen it. I've seen people score a lot on eBay for like $60, and they got this book included. Which, if you ask me, that's really good value there. But yeah, this is one. I don't know what else to tell you. You're going to have to pay up for this if you really want to get into TV books. I think you're going to have to be spending the most money out of all the series. If it's not in Give Yourself Goosebumps, it's going to be in the TV books. This one's unbelievably rare. Definitely in the top 3 rarest. Yeah. So, TV book 18 is number 4. Alright. At number 3, this one's an infamous one. This one is commonly listed at all times from $100 plus. From time to time, I have seen a copy for sale for like 60 to 80, and even those copies sell immediately. So, yeah, I think that kind of proves how rare this book is and how sought after it is, and how pretty much money is not a factor for this book. And that is TV book number 16, Attack of the Jack-O-Lanterns. I used eBay gift cards to purchase my copy. I think I paid like $60 for it. I think the bare minimum value is around $60. For an average price, I would say expect to pay anywhere from $80 to $100 for this thing. It's unbelievably rare to find for sale. I think thrift books from time to time will have a copy for sale, and it's listed at 125 base minimum. Very rarely do they slash the prices in half or at a reasonable percentage. But the other day I saw a copy like go down in price to like 65, and somebody immediately bought it. So good for them. But yeah, I would say for this one, it's considered the rarest of the three. I mean, $80 to $100 if you need to finish it for your collection. It's just something that you're gonna have to pay. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just unbelievably expensive. Now, at number 2, this is easily the most expensive book that's not number 1. This book is unfathomably expensive. I don't know why this book is so expensive. It just is. And I've shown a video on my channel about me finding this book for 50 cents. I got really lucky. But this book, I have seen so many sales sell for over $100. It's crazy. It's Give Yourself Goosebumps Special Edition number 7, Trick or Trapped. Yeah, this book, I think the cheapest I've ever seen it was 50 cents personally for me. I've seen people score it in a lot for 60, good for them. But the lowest sale I've ever heard of or seen is a $90 sale. That's a lot of money for one particular book. It's considered by many to be the rarest Goosebumps book outside of promo stuff. But it pops up for sale more than some of these TV books. I don't get it. I don't think it's absolutely the rarest, but I definitely think it's the most expensive. The highest sale I've seen ever was $175. I think the minimum value you're looking at is $100. Now, this one ranges the biggest out of all of the books, I would say, next to number 1. Expect anywhere between $100 to $150 for this book. It's unbelievably expensive, and there's not a lot for sale at times. You might get lucky and find one on an obscure website, or maybe thrift books might throw up a copy for dirt cheap here and there. I've seen and heard people getting deals on that and that way. That might be a route to go for, but other than that, all I have to say is good luck. Good luck. And then number 1, we have the most expensive. I know I'm kind of cheating here. I don't know if this is considered a collected edition, but we have the Goosebumps Haunted Library. This features 3 mini books. This was a Pepsi promo book giveaway. It comes with 3 books. Has Bad Dog, Don't Make Me Laugh, and the Halloween game. Now, I decided to include this at number 1. It's because it's infamously the most expensive, and it's rightfully so. I have seen people get really good deals at like under 20 bucks. And just the other day, somebody bought 2 of these for a really good price. I could not believe it. It was like under 20 bucks for 2 of them. And those things do happen from time to time. Also, you can get really good deals buying the books individually. But common value I've seen, and this is starting to balloon in asking price. I've seen upwards of $600 for this. I've seen $400. I've actually seen a $300 sale once. But normally, these sell for anywhere between $175 to $250. Normally around that $200, $225 mark. So that's where I would gauge the value of this is $200 to $225 reasonably. It also depends on what's included. Mine's actually missing the promo bookmark. I didn't know I was missing it, but at least I have the booklet itself. It's in beautiful condition with the books inside. The books are also immaculate. I was very blessed and fortunate. I used eBay gift cards to pay up for mine. I did have to pay a little bit out of pocket extra because my gift card didn't cover the full balance, but I'll let you know I did pay $200 plus for this. So expected value in price is going to be around that mark, $200 to $225, I would say. Anything more than that, it's getting kind of risky, but asking prices and, availability is starting to kind of dwindle. And also from time to time, you'll see a couple pop up here and there, and there'll be sporadic numbers for sale. but that's kind of hit or miss. So yeah, it's definitely deserved a number one. It's easily the most expensive Goosebumps book, or I guess books. So yeah, that wraps up my top 20 most expensive Goosebumps books video. Let me know in the comment section what books that you would include. Keep the conversation going. This is for all you collectors out there watching. Stay tuned for future installments of Goosebumps talk type of videos that I like to do, and I'll see you next time.